In a far galaxy on a planet named Euphrax lived a girl named Zelra. She was not an ordinary girl, she was born into a noble family. But now, her family was broken. Her father had lost everything in a failed war. Their home, money, and respect. All gone. Now, Zelra was standing in front of the Council of Unity, a group of powerful aliens who made laws for many planets. "Your family owes a great debt," said the council leader. "And it must be paid." Zelra stood straight, hiding her fear. "How can I pay it?" "There is only one way," the leader replied coldly. "You must marry." Zelra's eyes widened. "Marry? Who?" The screen behind the council turned. On, a shadow appeared. A tall, human-shaped figure stood in the middle of the screen, but his face was hidden. "He is from Earth," the council said. "His name is Adrian Vale." "Why me?" Zelra asked, her voice shaking. "Because Earth wants peace with Euphrax. And you, princess of a fallen house, are available." The words cut deep, but she said nothing. "He is dangerous," one council member whispered, but he agreed to the marriage. "And if I refuse?" Zelra asked quietly. "Then your family's debt will pass to your brother. He will be taken." Zelra closed her eyes. Her little brother, barely 12, innocent and weak, she had no choice. "I accept." The next day, Zelra boarded a silver starship. It was silent inside, except for the hum of energy. The stars outside moved slowly, but her heart raced fast. A robot handed her a small hologram cube. "This is your groom," it said. "You may look now." Zelra held the cube carefully. The hologram turned on. A man appeared. Black jacket, tall frame, short hair, a small scar near his eye. But what caught her attention was not his look, it was his eyes. Cold and lonely. There was something hidden in that face. Pain, maybe secrets. After 3 days, the ship landed inside a hidden Earth base. It was cold, dark, and deep under the ground. Strange human machines moved around. She stepped out slowly. 2 guards met her. "This way," one said. "Your groom is waiting." Zelra followed them through long metal halls until they reached a door. One guard opened it and stepped aside. "He's inside." Zelra walked in. He was standing by the window, looking at the fake sky outside. He didn't turn. "You're late," he said. Zelra frowned. "I didn't control the ship." Now he turned. Adrian Vale. His face was sharper than in the hologram. His eyes even colder. "I didn't agree to this," he said. She blinked. "But they said you did." "I agreed," he said slowly, "because they left me no choice. I'm a prisoner here, just like you." Silence filled the room. 2 people, forced into something neither wanted. "I'm sorry," Zelra said, "but I won't beg for your love." Adrian gave a dry laugh. "Good, because I have none to give." She turned to leave, but before she could step out, he said something strange. "They chose you for a reason, Zelra." She looked back. "What reason?" Adrian's jaw tightened. "I don't know." "But you're not just here to pay a debt. You're part of something else." That night, in her room, Zelra couldn't sleep. The lights flickered for a second. She sat up. Then she heard it, a voice, not outside, inside her mind. "You shouldn't have come here." She stood scared. "Who's there?" Silence. She touched her ear, her head. Maybe it was some tech trick. Maybe a dream, but then a small light began blinking on the wall. She walked closer. It was a small device, almost invisible, a tracker. She wasn't just being watched. She was being hunted. Zelra backed away, her hands cold. What kind of marriage was this? What kind of deal had she just accepted? "He doesn't speak unless he has to." That's what they told Zelra before she entered the room again. She had not seen Adrian Vale since their cold first meeting. But last night something had changed. A voice had spoken inside her mind. A tracker had blinked from her wall. And she had felt, for the first time, that this place was not a home, but a trap. Now, standing at the edge of a quiet metal training room, Zelra watched him from a distance. He moved like a soldier, fast, sharp, focused. His fists hit the punching bag with a rhythm that was almost like a machine, but then he paused. He knew she was watching. "You're awake early," Adrian said without looking back. Zelra stepped forward. "Couldn't sleep." "I see." He turned. Sweat on his forehead, his breathing calm. His eyes, like before, unreadable. She hesitated. You heard it too, didn't you? Adrian tilted his head. The voice? Zelra's heart skipped. So it wasn't just me. Adrian walked toward her slowly. Not threatening, but not kind either. That voice wasn't human, he said. It's old tech. From your side of the stars, very old. Zelra frowned. Then why is it speaking to me? Adrian stopped in front of her. That's the question, isn't it? Later, in the underground facility's observation deck, the two stood looking out at a fake projection of Earth's sky. Everything here feels controlled, Zelra said. Adrian replied, because it is. This base is not meant for living. It's for testing. Testing what? He didn't answer. Zelra turned to face him. Why were you chosen, Adrian? Why would Earth send someone like you, a soldier, to marry a political bride? He laughed once bitterly. You think I'm a soldier? I was. Once. Now I'm just their weapon, waiting for orders. You still have a choice, she said softly. He looked at her, truly looked this time. His voice dropped. No, I lost. That the day I killed someone I didn't want to. Silence again. Zelra didn't know what to say to that. So she said nothing. That night, she sneaked into a lower hallway, following the tracker signal from her room. It led to a locked door. When she pressed her hand against it, the lock blinked and opened on its own. Inside, cold air hit her face. The room was full of old alien tech, glowing crystals, data drives, and one large pod in the center. A soft voice echoed, Welcome, Subject Zeta-9. She froze. Subject? The lights turned on. On one wall, a symbol appeared, a Uvrax symbol. She hadn't seen since childhood. Suddenly, she wasn't alone. Adrian entered, his face pale. You shouldn't be here, he said sharply. Zelra turned. What is this place? He walked past her, typed into a screen. It's not part of this base. It was buried here. Long before humans built anything above it. Zelra looked around. Then why is it responding to me? Adrian didn't answer. Instead, he pointed at a chamber on the screen. Her name was there, next to it. Compatible. Zelra whispered. Compatible for what? Adrian's voice was low. For a program. A merger between human and alien DNA. A peace experiment or a weapon, no one knows anymore. She backed away. Is that why we were matched? Adrian's eyes met hers. I didn't know, not at first, but now I think you're more important than you've been told. The next morning, guards arrived. The council is watching, they said. You will attend a dinner ceremony. The world must see the couple. Zelra wore a silver gown, traditional for her people. Adrian wore Earth's black ceremonial suit. They sat side by side at a long metal table. Under cameras, lights, and silence, a toast was made, but under the table, Adrian slipped her a small note. She read it later in her room. It said, They are monitoring you. Everything you see is not real. Trust no one, not even me. Do you ever feel like someone is watching? From inside your own mind? Zelra stood in front of the mirror, but she didn't recognize the reflection anymore. Her skin looked the same. Her eyes still violet, still sharp, but something behind. Her eyes was different. A quiet voice had started speaking inside her. Not with words, but with feelings, warnings. Memories that didn't belong to her, and when she touched her chest, right above her heart, it was warm. Almost glowing. What was happening to her? The next day, during a routine medical check in the Earth base, the human doctor froze when scanning her body. There's energy inside you, he said quietly. It's not natural. Adrian stepped forward. What kind of energy? The doctor didn't answer. Instead, he called for backup. 2 guards entered the room, gripping weapons. Zelra looked at Adrian. Fear in her eyes. They think I'm dangerous. Adrian's jaw tightened. He knew this wasn't going to end well. Without warning, he pulled her behind him and knocked out the nearest guard. The room filled with shouting, but Adrian grabbed Zelra and ran. Alarms began to blare. They escaped into the older tunnels, places no one used anymore. Dust covered the floors. Lights flickered. I don't understand, Zelra whispered. Why now? What changed? Adrian looked back at her. Whatever's inside you, it's waking up? They found a small control room deep underground. The power was low, but the system still worked. Adrian tapped into the old logs. Files began to load, and a name appeared again. Project Harmony. Zelra stared at the screen. What is that? Adrian replied, it was meant to be peace. Through evolution, a child born from two worlds. Human and Uvrax. Her voice dropped. That child is me? No, he said slowly. You're not the child, you're the test. Zelra stepped back. Her heart was racing. They didn't want a marriage, she said. They wanted to create something new. Adrian nodded. And now they're scared because it's working. Suddenly, Zelra collapsed. Her hands touched the ground. Her eyes wide, glowing faintly, a vision hit her dot. She saw a ship crashing through a storm, a baby crying, her mother, hiding something. Inside the child's chest, a crystal, a code. Then blackness. When she woke up, Adrian was holding her hand. You passed out, he said softly. What did you see? Zelra's voice shook. Memories, but not mine, a woman. She put something inside me before I was born. Adrian's. Eyes narrowed. That would explain the signal, the voice. The power. Zelra stood. I need to find out what it is. Adrian agreed. Then we go deeper. There's one more level below this facility. It's been sealed for years. She nodded. Let's find the truth. They reached the lowest level, level 0, hidden under layers of locked doors and forgotten tech. Inside, the walls were not human-made. They were old, ancient alien metal, curved and humming with energy. Symbols glowed when Zelra touched them. The doors opened like they recognized her. Adrian watched in silence. He had seen many things in his life. War, betrayal, death. But this was something else. She wasn't just a girl. She was a key. In the center of the chamber. A tall mirror-like device stood. Floating symbols circled around it. Zelra stepped closer. Her reflection looked different again. This time there were two versions of her in the glass. One, as she was now, and one, glowing with full power, eyes white, energy flowing from her hands. A soft voice whispered again, You are the bridge. Suddenly, Zelra's hand moved on its own. She touched the device and the ground shook. Adrian grabbed her back as waves of light burst from the device. Alarms across the facility started again. Someone, or something, knew what just happened. Zelra turned to Adrian. Her voice calm now, stronger. They'll come for us. Adrian nodded. Let them come. Zelra found her name inside a file that wasn't supposed to exist, and beneath her name, just one word, weapon. She stared at the holographic screen in the dark control room, her hands trembling slightly. Adrian stood behind her, quiet. The glow from the monitor lit only half his face. This file was deleted from Earth's official records, he said. It was buried, hidden, Zelra whispered. Why? Adrian didn't answer. He didn't have to, because the answer was right there on the screen. Project Harmony, Phase 2, Hybrid. Activation protocol, and the subject was her. 3 hours earlier, they had escaped the lower levels after the device had activated. Soldiers searched for them now. Adrian knew time was short. So he brought Zelra to a place he once swore never to return to, the archive room. This was where he first saw the file. Years ago, but back then, he thought it was science fiction. He didn't know the name inside it would one day become his bride. Now he watched Zelra read every line of it. She didn't blink, didn't breathe. He hated this. He hated seeing her discover that her life had been designed by others. Read this, she said, pointing to a section of the report. Adrian leaned in. The lines were cold, clinical. Subject. Zeta 9 is the only known viable carrier of the Uvrax core code. Neural capacity exceeded human threshold by 64%. Emotional resistance, high. Memory sealing, successful. Zelra looked up at him. Memory sealing? Adrian swallowed. They hid things from you, maybe even from yourself. She stepped back from the screen. My parents weren't poor, she said slowly. We were targeted from the start. Adrian nodded. And I was the bait. Zelra's eyes burned. No, you're not just a pawn. You made a choice when you saved me, when you came with me. He held her gaze for a moment, then looked away. I don't know if I'm a good man anymore. Zelra touched his arm. Maybe we're both made from broken pieces, but that doesn't mean we can't build something new. Suddenly the lights flickered. A sharp alarm echoed through the chamber. Unauthorized access detected. Adrian pulled her. Back, they've found us. But before they could leave, a voice rang out from the speakers. Cold, robotic. Adrian Vale, Subject Zeta 9, this is your final warning. Surrender the data, or you will be neutralized. Adrian looked at her. Run? Zelra smirked, always. They ran through the old maintenance tunnels. Fire sprinklers bursting from the ceiling. Systems locking down around them. As they turned a corner, a wall panel exploded beside them. Zelra's powers reacted instantly. A burst of violet light deflected the shrapnel. Her hands glowed faintly afterward. She looked at them. Still not used to this. Adrian caught her wrist. Your control is getting better, she smiled weakly. I hope so, because I think I just turned a corner with my DNA. They finally reached a safe chamber, Adrian's old command quarters, long abandoned. Here, buried inside a floor panel, was a hidden drive he had kept for years. He inserted it into the console. Another file appeared, one no one had seen but him. Project Harmony Phase 1, the Groom Selection Protocol. Zelra read the line slowly. Out of 1,200 subjects, Adrian Vale displayed the highest neural stability in trauma conditions. His emotional suppression levels matched Subject Zeta 9's predicted empathy barrier. Result: 91% compatibility for controlled bonding. Status: Groom assigned. She turned to him, hurt in her eyes. You were chosen to handle me? Adrian stepped back, ashamed. I didn't know then, I swear. I found out after we were matched. And you still agreed? He nodded. Because the moment I saw you, not the hologram, I didn't care what the file said. A pause. Do you care now? She asked. No, he said. Now I just care about getting us both out alive. Suddenly the room dimmed. A small circular device on Zelra's wrist, one she never noticed before, began to glow red. Then a message appeared in front of her eyes. Countdown to hybrid awakening. 48 hours. She looked at Adrian. Her voice hollow. What happens in 48 hours? He didn't answer, because deep inside, he already knew she won't be the same after that. She dreamed of fire, but woke up glowing. Zelra's skin was lit with faint light, her fingertips flickering like stars. The room was quiet. Adrian was asleep on the floor, a gun resting beside him. But Zelra couldn't sleep anymore, not with this inside her. The message still played in her mind. Countdown to hybrid awakening. 38 hours. It was ticking down. Whatever they had put inside her, whatever she was born to become, it was waking up. And she had no idea what it would turn her into. Across the base, soldiers gathered in black armor. A secret order had been given during the night. Kill the groom if necessary. The subject must be contained. They were done pretending now. No more peace mission, no more marriage for diplomacy. The truth had broken out, and they couldn't let it spread. Adrian woke to the smell of burning metal. He grabbed his weapon and rushed to the hallway. Zelra stood there. Hand raised, smoke drifting from the wall where her fingers had touched. Are you okay? He asked. She didn't turn. I can feel something inside me, she whispered. Like it wants to get out? Adrian stepped closer. You're still you. She finally looked at him. Not for long. They didn't wait for the soldiers to come to them. Adrian activated escape protocol, a secret route designed for top priority. Asset removal. He had once trained for missions like this. Now he was the mission's target. The tunnel was narrow, filled with old backup systems and leaking power lines. But it was their only chance. Zelra struggled to keep her energy controlled. Sparks flew every time her skin touched metal. Adrian noticed. Your body's fighting the seal, he said. It's trying to complete the merge, Zelra nodded. And if it succeeds, you'll become something neither side can control. Midway through the escape tunnel, they reached a checkpoint. A gate blocked their path. Behind them, footsteps, loud, fast. Adrian, Zelra said, stepping forward. I got it, he replied, opening the control panel, but it was too late. A drone fired from behind. The blast hit the wall beside them. Debris flew. Zelra screamed, her body acting on instinct. A shockwave burst from her palms, hurling the drone into the tunnel wall with such force it exploded instantly. Adrian stared at her. "Zelra!" She looked at her hands, glowing brighter than ever. "I didn't try," she whispered. "It just happened." He grabbed her wrist gently. "Then learn to try, or it'll control you." They finally reached the outer exit, but a surprise was waiting. Commander Ryle, Adrian's former mentor. Now his hunter. "Well done," Ryle said coldly, his weapon pointed at them. "You actually activated Protocol 13. Never thought you'd betray Earth for a girl." "She's not just a girl," Adrian growled. "No, she's a bomb wearing a pretty face." Ryle turned to Zelra. "Your heartbeat's unstable. I can hear it from here. That means Phase 2 is nearly complete. If we let you live, we risk the hybrid infecting both species." Zelra stepped forward. "I didn't ask for any of this." "But you are it now," Ryle said, "and Earth doesn't take chances." He raised the gun. Zelra didn't move. Adrian did. In one move, he tackled Ryle to the ground. The gun fired, missed Zelra by inches. A struggle followed, two trained soldiers, both fast, brutal. Then a sudden flash. Zelra's scream broke into raw energy. The lights burst. Ryle flew backwards into the wall. Unconscious, Zelra collapsed, breathing hard, her hair floating slightly above her head from the energy surge. Adrian knelt beside her. "We have to go, now." Outside the base, the stars had changed. A black ship hovered above Earth's sky, not human. Zelra looked up. "That's Vrax Tech." Adrian aimed his scope. "No, that's not your people's design. It's older. Maybe even older than your planet." The ship scanned the base, then vanished in a blink. Zelra touched her heart. It was glowing again. "They're not just watching," she whispered. "They're waiting for me." She stood in the rain that wasn't real, under a sky built by lies. The simulation dome was cracked now, just like her trust. Zelra's boots sank into the soft, fake soil of the Earth base's outer ring. Above her, the artificial clouds flickered as the power grid struggled to stay online. Somewhere behind her, Adrian was watching. Always watching. But she needed this moment alone, because the time to choose had come, and both choices meant someone would bleed. Hours earlier, a message came through the stolen transmitter. "Return to Uvrax alone and the war will end. The Earth Alliance will collapse without you, or stay with him, and be hunted forever." Zelra stared at the blinking message, her hands trembling. Adrian looked at her from across the room. "What will you do?" She didn't answer, because she didn't know. Now, in the silent dome, Zelra closed her eyes. Her memories felt louder than her heartbeat. Her brother's laughter. Her father's fall. The council's cold voice. "You must marry, or your family will die in shame." Adrian's hand pulling her out of fire. His arms around her the night she collapsed. The way he never ran from her powers, but now Earth wanted her gone. Uvrax wanted her controlled. The strange ship in the sky wanted something she didn't even understand yet. She opened her eyes. "Why do I have to save both worlds?" She whispered. A voice spoke from behind. "Maybe you're not here to save them. Maybe you're here to change them." "Adrian," he walked to her side, silent as always, but his presence louder than thunder. She didn't look at him. "If I go, they'll stop hunting you," she said. "And if you go, you'll be alone," he replied. She finally turned. "Better alone than responsible for another war." Adrian shook his head. "You're not the problem, Zelra. You're the excuse they're using." She looked into his eyes. "Then what am I?" He stepped closer. "You're the first person I ever chose, not because I was ordered, not because of a mission, but because I believed in you." Suddenly, the ground shook. An explosion rang out. A message flashed across Adrian's wristband. "Council fleet incoming -3 ships. Full power, 6 minutes." Zelra's eyes widened. "They're here?" Adrian nodded. "They're not." "Coming to talk?" They rushed back to the command room. Radar showed 3 massive Uvrax warships entering Earth's orbit. The planet's defense systems lit up, ready for battle. "They're afraid of what I'll become," Zelra said, "or what you already are." Adrian replied. She stepped to the screen, fingers glowing faintly. There has to be another way. Adrian looked at her. There is. Zelra turned. I go, she said. No, I let them take me, pretend to obey. By Earth time. Stop the war before it starts. Adrian's voice dropped. They'll erase who you are. She smiled sadly. Then remember me. Adrian stepped forward. No, I'll come with you. You can't? I will. Suddenly, a fourth ship appeared, the same black one. From before, older than Uvrax, not human. It didn't fire. It simply hovered between Earth and the approaching Ox fleet. A symbol lit up on its hull, the same one from the hidden chamber under the base. Zelra's body reacted instantly. Her pulse aligned with the ship's signal. Her hands sparked. The old ones, she whispered. The creators of the core, they're calling me. Adrian watched as her body floated slightly off the floor, her voice layered with another tone, almost alien. We are ready for the choice. Unity or separation, war or evolution. Zelra fell back into herself. Breathing hard, she looked at Adrian. I have to go. Then I'm coming with you. Zelra held his face. No, if you come, they'll see it as threat. Let me end it. As me. A pause. I love you, Adrian, she said. That's the part they didn't predict. Then she turned, walking toward the launch bay as the sky opened. No one saw her arrive. But the stars changed color when she did. A silent ripple passed through the galaxy, not war. Not peace? Something in between, a choice finally made. Zelra stepped onto the ancient ship's bridge. It wasn't built for war, it was built for judgment. Light curved around her body as if the air itself recognized her blood. Symbols floated above her head, reacting to her presence. She had left Earth behind, left Adrian behind, but his memory followed her into the stars. Inside the core of the ship, voices whispered, not in her ears, but inside her DNA. We are the architects? Your birth was not chance? You are the last bridge between broken worlds. Zelra stood tall. Then let me speak for both. Meanwhile, on Earth, Adrian watched from the underground base as the Uvrax warships aimed their weapons at the planet's defense grid. They were moments away from full-scale war. And then every ship froze mid-space. The black ship lit up like a second sun. A new transmission appeared. Not from Earth, not from Uvrax, but from her. This is Zelra of both worlds. You created me for control, but I am not your tool. I am not your experiment. I am not your fear. Her voice echoed across every screen, every ship, every station. I am the end of your war, and the beginning of something new. On the Uvrax command ship, council members stood speechless. One of them whispered, How is she overriding us? Another replied, She's not. The core is listening to her. Not us. Inside the ancient ship, Zelra stood before a final decision panel. Two paths hovered in front of her. Path 1, reset, all powers removed. Memory sealed. Zelra returned to her life, human and powerless. Safe, but forgotten. Path 2, evolve, powers fully awakened. She becomes the first of a new species. Half human, half Uvrax, something never seen before, but it came with a cost. She could never return. Never be who she was. Never be with Adrian again. Her hands hovered over both, and she cried, not in weakness, but in grief, because no matter what she chose, something would be lost. Back on Earth, Adrian stood at the place where they first met. The place he had once hated. Now, it felt sacred. He whispered, whatever you choose. Let it be free. In the end, Zelra chose neither path. She placed her hands between both options, and the system glitched. The ancient machine shook, symbols shattered. Warnings flashed, but she didn't move. She forced a third path, a new one. I choose to remember, I choose to evolve, but I also choose to return. Let me be both, the system resisted. Then accepted. The black ship dimmed, then slowly lowered back toward Earth. The warship stood down. Zelra's voice whispered across space. One last time. Tell Adrian I'm coming home. 1 week later, the skies over Earth were clear. In a quiet field beyond the old Earth base, Adrian sat alone. Just like always, but this time the wind brought something different, the sound of footsteps. He turned. She stood there, no lights. No glow, no warships. Just her. Zell raw. Human eyes. Calm heartbeat. No weapons. But in her smile. Galaxies moved. Adrian stood. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. He opened his arms and she walked into them, somewhere far above. The stars aligned for the first time in centuries. And a new dawn began.